Well, it's still getting messier and messier in the It Ends With Us feud between co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint.
Blake Lively is back in the headlines, and not for the reasons you'd expect. Just when we thought this saga couldn't get any more dramatic, another lawsuit has been thrown into the mix, and honestly, it's like watching a soap opera play out in real life. The latest twist, a crisis management firm owner, Jed Wallace, has filed a lawsuit against the actress, claiming he was unfairly dragged into her legal battle with Justin Baldoni. If you've been keeping up with this drama, you'll know that the situation has already spiraled into a full-blown mess of accusations, counterclaims, and now even more lawsuits. Let's break down what's happening here, because trust us, it's a lot.
You're not kidding when you say this is getting messier. The author of that book deleting her Instagram account, another who plays Baldoni's sister in the film, being harassed online.
First, let's set the stage. Blake Lively filed a federal lawsuit against Justin Baldoni in December, accusing him of inappropriate conduct on the set of their film, It Ends With Us. That lawsuit alone sent shockwaves through Hollywood, but it didn't stop there. Baldoni fired back with not one, but multiple counterclaims, including a jaw-dropping defamation lawsuit against Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan. And now, Jed Wallace, a public relations consultant based in Texas, is entering the fray with his own multi-million-dollar suit, claiming Blake's allegations against him have caused irreparable damage to his reputation and livelihood. Wallace argues that he's been unfairly implicated in what he calls a campaign of retaliation orchestrated by Baldoni and his team. According to Blake's original complaint, Wallace was allegedly part of a coordinated effort to smear her character online, using social media and internet forums to manipulate public opinion. Blake's legal team accused Wallace and others of creating a digital army to spread negative content about her while boosting Baldoni's image. But here's the kicker. Wallace says he's never even met or spoken to Blake Lively. Let that sink in for a moment. He's claiming that he's become collateral damage in a feud that he had no personal involvement in, and now he's suing for millions in damages to clear his name.
That it's a continuation of the smear campaign that Blake initially claims happened while they were promoting the film.
And honestly, who can blame him for being upset? According to Wallace's complaint, being named in Blake's lawsuit has wreaked havoc on his reputation. He's arguing that the allegations have not only harmed his professional standing, but have also painted him as a villain in a drama he wants no part of. His attorney, Chip Babcock, didn't hold back in his public comments, stating that Blake's team went too far by distributing her complaint to the media, effectively turning the legal dispute into a public spectacle. Babcock pointed out that Wallace is a private individual who has never had any direct interaction with Lively, making it all the more egregious that he's been named in her accusations. So what exactly did Blake's lawsuit say about Wallace? Well, her complaint doesn't mince words. It accuses him of being a key player in a sophisticated and, financed campaign to discredit her. Blake's team alleged that Wallace worked behind the scenes to plant negative stories about her on social media and even influence online forums like Reddit. They claim he was part of a broader effort spearheaded by Baldoni's public relations team to shift the narrative and protect Baldoni's reputation at all costs. According to the complaint, Wallace's team was responsible for seeding content that painted Blake in a negative light while propping up Baldoni as a victim. The complaint even includes text messages from Baldoni's PR team allegedly praising Wallace's work for helping to turn the tide against Blake on social media. One text message cited in Blake's lawsuit reportedly reads, "We've started to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's effort to shine a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. The majority of socials are so pro. Justin, it's hard not to agree with them. LOL." Another message allegedly references Reddit posts that were part of this so-called smear campaign, with one team member celebrating how well they were crushing it on the platform. Blake's team claims that these efforts were designed to create the appearance of an organic backlash against her, all while shielding Baldoni from criticism.
Creepy Baldoni. Getting close to her, obviously making small chatter not in character so as not to make the scene, which didn't require dialogue, awkward.
But Wallace's side is calling foul. His legal team insists that he had no involvement in any campaign to harm Blake Lively's reputation, and that her allegations are not only baseless but defamatory. Wallace's lawsuit goes a step further, accusing Lively's team of abusing a legal process by distributing her complaint to the press before it was even filed in court. This, he argues, turned what should have been a private legal matter into a public relations nightmare, dragging his name through the mud and causing lasting damage to his career. His lawyers are also arguing that Blake's accusations fall outside the protections of litigation privilege, which typically shields parties from defamation claims for statements made during legal proceedings. Why? Because, according to them, Blake's team crossed the line by using the media to amplify her claims, effectively turning the courtroom drama into a public spectacle.
Literally, I'm just asking the question, like, how are women allowed to do this, to take something and to make it sound like you survived a because that's what it sounded like to the public.
And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Blake's legal strategy has come under fire. Baldoni's legal team has made similar accusations, claiming that her decision to go public with her allegations was part of a calculated effort to destroy his reputation. In fact, Baldoni's team has gone so far as to launch a website dedicated to refuting Blake's claims, complete with raw footage, text messages, and other evidence they say proves her allegations are false. On this website, Baldoni's team has posted a detailed timeline of events, including metadata from a New York Times article about Blake's lawsuit. They allege that the article was in the works long before her complaint was actually filed, suggesting a coordinated effort between Blake and the media to defame Baldoni. The New York Times has denied these claims, but the accusations have only added more fuel to an already blazing fire.
We can now all agree that the moral crimes committed here by Ryan Reynolds against Justin Baldoni have amounted to high treason.
Wallace's lawsuit also brings up another contentious issue, whether Blake's team acted ethically by naming him in her complaint without concrete evidence of wrongdoing. His lawyers argue that her allegations were reckless and lacked any basis in fact, making them all the more damaging to his reputation. They're particularly critical of how Blake's team handled the situation, accusing them of using Wallace as a scapegoat to bolster their case against Baldoni. And with millions of dollars on the line, it's clear that Wallace isn't backing down anytime soon. This latest twist raises even more questions about how far each side is willing to go in this increasingly messy legal battle. Is Wallace simply an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire, or was he really part of a coordinated effort to smear Blake Lively's reputation? And how will this new lawsuit impact the broader case between Lively and Baldoni? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and the stakes just keep getting higher.
I have got some major scoops. I mean, everybody's talking because the sink is shipping and people want to get onto lifeboats. So let's jump right in. Welcome back to Candace.
As it stands, this is now the fifth lawsuit tied to the Lively-Baldoni feud, each one more explosive than the last. From Blake's initial claims of harassment to Baldoni's countersuit, accusing her of defamation, the legal battle has grown into a sprawling web of accusations, counterclaims, and public finger-pointing. And with Wallace's lawsuit now in the mix, it's clear that the fallout from this drama is only just beginning. The question is, who will come out on top in this high-stakes game of legal chess? And more importantly, how will this all end? Stay tuned, because this Hollywood feud is only getting started. The drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has reached levels nobody could have predicted, and now all eyes are on the evidence, the accusations, and the ripple effects this feud is having on everyone remotely connected to it. As we dive deeper into this tangled web, it's clear that no one is walking away from this unscathed. Not Blake, not Justin, and not even the people who were supposed to stay behind the scenes. So let's keep peeling back the layers and figure out exactly how this saga is spiraling further out of control.
So I'm just going to very quickly, before I give you all of the tea that I got over the weekend, I'm going to go over the biggest revelations from the filing.
The heart of this legal battle lies in the claims and counterclaims, and one of the most contentious points involves the behind. The scene's chaos of filming it ends with us. For months, rumors have been flying about what went down on set, and with every new piece of information, the story only gets murkier. Blake's lawsuit alleges that Justin created a toxic environment, crossing boundaries both personally and professionally. But Justin's team has fiercely denied these claims, going so far as to release unedited footage from the set to back up his side of the story. And here's where things get messy. The footage itself is being interpreted in wildly different ways, depending on who you ask. Blake's team claims the video is damning, backing up her allegations that Justin acted inappropriately during a slow dance scene. According to Blake's lawsuit, Justin leaned in too close, made unsolicited comments about her appearance, and improvised physical gestures that were never discussed or agreed upon beforehand. Her legal team argues that the video shows her discomfort clearly, pointing out how she leans away from Justin and repeatedly tries to steer the scene in a different direction. They even claim that her nervous laughter and attempts to lighten the mood are classic signs of someone trying to deflect unwanted attention. To quote Blake's legal statement, no woman should have to take defensive measures to avoid being touched by their employer without their consent.
Like, he literally tells Ryan he wants to be friends with you. And I could just see Ryan sitting there like, yes, this is exactly what I want, a puppy to kick in the mouth. And you'll do what I say.
But Justin's team sees things very differently. They argue that the footage shows nothing more than two actors trying to nail a romantic scene with both behaving professionally and within the boundaries of their roles. In their view, the video proves that Blake's claims are exaggerated at best and completely fabricated at worst. Justin's lawyer, Ryan Friedman, has been vocal about his client's innocence, accusing Blake of manipulating the narrative to shift attention away from her own actions during the film's production and promotion. Friedman even described the release of the footage as a necessary step in setting the record straight and ensuring that the public sees the truth, unfiltered by media bias.
And one of the most significant allegations in Baldoni's lawsuit is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film. This is important.
And speaking of media bias, let's not forget the role that public perception is playing in this saga. From the moment Blick's lawsuit was filed, social media has been ablaze with opinions, theories, and of course, plenty of finger pointing. Fans of both stars have taken to platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit to dissect every detail, from the way Blake and Justin interacted during interviews to the allegations of a smear campaign orchestrated by Justin's PR team. On one side, supporters of Blake argue that she's a brave woman standing up against workplace misconduct in an industry that has long silenced such voices. On the other side, Justin's defenders claim that he's the real victim, caught in the crosshairs of a calculated attempt to ruin his career.
Now, you have two sides here, right? So Baldoni says this was all an effort to hijack the film to get her way. Lively claims she was the victim of harassment in a hostile work environment.
The online discourse has gotten so intense that it's starting to overshadow the actual legal proceedings. And that's exactly what Justin's team is accusing Blake of trying to achieve. They argue that by going public with her allegations and involving the media, Blake has essentially weaponized public opinion against Justin, turning what should have been a private legal matter into a full-blown public trial. In one particularly scathing statement, Justin's lawyer accused Blake of using her celebrity status and media connections to torpedo his reputation and career, all while framing herself as the victim.
Lively's team has denied all of these allegations. They have responded to this lawsuit, saying,
But Blake's team isn't backing down. They maintain that her decision to file the lawsuit was driven purely by a desire for justice and accountability, not by any ulterior motives. Her legal team has also doubled down on their claims that Justin's team engaged in a coordinated effort to smear her reputation, going so far as to hire a crisis management firm to manipulate social media narratives. This brings us back to Jed Wallace, the Texas-based consultant who is now suing Blake for defamation. Jed's lawsuit claims that he's been unfairly dragged into this feud, but Blake's team insists that his involvement was both significant and deliberate. According to them, Jed's team played a key role in planting negative stories about Blake online, creating a snowball effect that led to widespread backlash against her.
That Justin won't be bullied by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So his lawyer told us that their recent court filings show how scared they are.
One particularly damaging claim from Blake's lawsuit involves a series of text messages allegedly sent by Justin's PR team praising Jed's efforts to turn the tide against Blake on social media. These messages reportedly included comments like, "We're crushing it on Reddit," and the majority of socials are so pro-Justin, it's unbelievable. Blake's legal team argues that these texts are clear evidence of a smear campaign, while Jed's team insists that they've been taken out of context and misrepresented.
And he says, look, this is just, Hollywood is based on pure fear, cultivated by both of them and their very powerful friends in entertainment.
And then there's the issue of the New York Times article that first broke the news of Blake's lawsuit. Justin's team has alleged that the article was part of a coordinated effort between Blake and the media to paint him in a negative light before he even had a chance to respond. They've pointed to metadata from the article, which they claim shows that it was in the works weeks before Blake officially filed her complaint. While the New York Times has denied these allegations, the timing of the article's publication has raised eyebrows and added yet another layer of intrigue to this already convoluted story.
But yeah, it's just getting super nasty, and it seems like he's not cowering to this attempted gag order.
Yeah, I don't really understand Blake Lively's point here.
With so many moving parts, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. But at its core, this legal battle is about more than just two Hollywood stars at odds. It's about power, perception, and the lengths people will go to protect their reputations. For Blake, this lawsuit represents a fight for her integrity and her right to feel safe and respected in her workplace. For Justin, it's a battle to clear his name and salvage his career in the face of what he sees as false and damaging accusations. And for everyone else caught in the crossfire, from PR consultants to media outlets, it's a cautionary tale about the dangers of getting involved in someone else's feud.
Use this tool of a lawsuit or whatever to get it into the public atmosphere, and now you're not going to allow me the chance to respond in the same avenue?
As the lawsuits pile up and the stakes get higher, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. Both sides are digging in their heels, and with trials, depositions, and potentially even more lawsuits on the horizon, the drama is only going to intensify. The question now is, who will the jury and the public ultimately believe? Will Blake's claims of misconduct hold up under scrutiny, or will Justin's evidence turn the tide in his favor? And what about the collateral damage? Will people like Jed Wallace and the New York Times be able to clear their names, or will they become permanent casualties of this Hollywood feud? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This is the kind of scandal that will be talked about for years to come. So, what do you think? Are you Team Blake or Team Justin? And how do you see this playing out in the long run? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. This is one story you won't want to miss.